Hello and welcome to Politics Around the World on Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwebike. Now let's kick off our show today with what's happening in the Middle East. And we're talking about Israel and Hezbollah crisis. And we have it coming that the Israeli military fighter jets had carried out attacks on Hezbollah ammunition and its depot, and of course air defense system in the Bekaa Valley, deep inside Lebanon. And following the strikes, the secondary explosions were identified, indicating the presence of large amounts of weapons in the facility that they were struck. The military also claimed attacks on Hezbollah positions in southern Lebanon, including Abu Shash, Wadi, Hamal, Aita al-Shab, Ramiyah, and Talusa. To get more perspective on all that's happening here, of course, I have with me Cyril Abaku, an expert in international politics. Cyril, thank you so very much for joining me today.
My pleasure, Henry.
All right, so let's get into this issue. The 1967 Six-Day War transitioned Israel from a country that was fighting for itself to a country that had occupied 4 times of its size. Now, with what's going on in 2024 since October 7, do you think Israel is not having an incursion to gaining more grounds for itself?
No, so the dynamics have changed significantly from 67 to now. Israel today is looking a bit more of, is looking more at consolidating its power. If you can perceive what is happening in the Middle East today, Israel is no longer afraid of its existence. They're no longer there to prove a point that they can do things. They were attacked in 67, they repelled the attack in 6 days.
And gained more?
Yes. No, but if you win the war, you can't be accused of taking the booty of the war. They took the Golan Heights, they took a lot of land. 73 was Yom Kippur. Again, Israel was attacked, right? And then they fought back and beat Egypt way back. So, but somehow again, 79, they now reached the peace accords and everything. So somehow Israel has more than proved the point that they can exist. And that they have the right to exist. Right now, what they are doing is to basically, like I said, consolidate the fact that we are here. And not only are we here, we're not a pushover, we are a force to reckon with. So anything they are doing now is from a point of strength, not from a point of fear or fight. If you look at what's going on, in fact, to think that only recently countries like Qatar and even Saudi Arabia are trying to normalize relations with Israel, tells you that the dynamics have significantly changed. Today, Israel versus Iran, all the other Arab countries are supplying intelligence to Israel against
Iran.
Isolated Iran.
Why do you think so?
Well, like I said, times and things continue to change. You see, the thing is this: for every country, the first rule is to survive. That's the first rule.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is geopolitical, sometimes even cultural, and even sometimes religious things may come secondary to your own survival as a state. Because if you pursue some fantastic ideas or some fantasy and you sink, who will come to your rescue? So they've seen that their own security, Israel is the only country in the middle that is a pure democracy. There's no king, there's no supreme ruler. It is a pure democracy. Power is derived from the people organically. In fact, Israel is more democratic than America. If you compare the two, America is like a military dictatorship where Israel is. They call Netanyahu Bibi. Children call him Bibi. In the press, they call him Bibi. They don't care. There's nothing like elder or, it's a very egalitarian society. So, Israel commands a certain security and military strength that no other Arab country or their neighbors can command.
With the support of the US, of course.
Sure, of course. But again, the Mossad and the US has also several times proved to the CIA that they can put their own weight by themselves.
But with the catastrophe happening in Gaza as made possible by Israel, don't you think that all of these areas that have been decimated could possibly go to Israel at the end of the day?
Well, again, the Gaza had been conquered, if I'm not mistaken, prior. The Sinai, all of those places had been conquered before during the peace accord, right? Israel had to cede back some of those lands too. And then the Palestinians were still in that place. Okay, when war breaks out, especially when you are the aggressor, you cannot always determine how the aggrieved party should retaliate.
Okay.
it could be that Israel has pushed things a bit far. But the question again is this politics or is this war? Because if it is politics or war, the reality is that when you take your chance, you are like saying, whatever happens, let's happen, but I take my chances. And that's what they was not PLO. That's what Hamas has done. So maybe if they can't get justice in terms of established global channels, which they did not even explore before they went so maybe they have plan B that they are yet to bring to the table. Maybe they can bring that to the table.
All right, so just before I let you go, two-state solution. Do you think it's possible to ever have that? And is that the best solution to the crisis in the region?
It may not be. You know, people don't remember that. The two-state solution was the original proposition when Israel was founded. Okay? The Palestinians didn't take it. Then I think after the 6-7 war, the way the borders were rearranged, there was also that sort of concession. But you know, the Israel-Palestinian conflict is no longer between Israel and Palestine. No. Back then, in the 60s, there was the Cold War. So Russia and America were sort of also fighting for influence in that region. Whose word will prevail? So to this day, if you think that it's only that the war is between Israel and Hamas, is not you will not be correct. A lot of outside influence are also influencing what's going on there.
So Israel is equally a proxy, isn't it? Just like Gaza and Hamas are equally proxies.
Well, so, I wouldn't say proxies, but it's more than Israel and Gaza.
All right.
Yes, it's a lot more than
that. All right. Thank you so very much, Cyril, for giving us your time. I truly do appreciate that.
My pleasure.
All right. So that was Cyril Abaku, an experienced journalist in international politics and relations. Now, quickly, let's move on to our next story today. Let's make our next stop in America. Yes, sir, where we have it up close. That what seemed more like a reality TV show is closely being watched by 7 billion world citizens. American election cycle it is. And this time we have Donald Trump and Kamala Harris as main actors in the game. What started like a one-winner-take-all between Donald Trump and Joe Biden is taking an interesting twist with Kamala replacing Biden, which is no longer news. But what is news, however, ladies and gentlemen, is that the vice president is already leading Donald Trump in the polls with less than 100 days to go. Now, as you can see right here on my screen, Kamala Harris, as of today, is leading Donald Trump with 46%. Donald Trump is still with 43%, and then it's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. with 6%, whom, however, has said he is no longer running for the elections and is giving all his support to Donald Trump. So maybe let's say add 43 to 6 and we have 49. So would that mean that Donald Trump is leading Kamala Harris? But of course, we still have 100 days to go and things obviously might change. There is no doubt that the winning possibility for the November elections would largely be determined with social media, but especially when misinformation is taken seriously. Unlike in Nigeria, ladies and gentlemen, where real human actors were used before the February 25th general elections and asked to dress in pretense like clergy and have their congregation show up for a false endorsement of a particular candidate just to appeal to Christian voters. Like you can see, these young men or elders were actually asked to dress like clergy. And of course, I wonder if they regret their actions now. But of course, that is what happens in Nigeria. However, in stark contrast for the US election, AI-generated images erroneously was used to peddle misinformation instead. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump posted on social media fake images suggesting that pop star Taylor Swift, as you can see her dressed like Uncle Sam there, and her legions of fans called the Swifties are backing him in the upcoming United States election, of course, which has been made as false. So Trump posted the images where you have Taylor Swift at different frames. Yes, so this is Taylor Swift. These are AI-generated images showing the Swifties. Those are the fans of Taylor Swift, and that's Taylor Swift dressed like Uncle Sam. saying let's vote for Donald Trump and all. You can see there the Swifties for Donald Trump, which of course are all AI generated images, which of course has been found to be false, of which appear to be AI generated, of course, and deep fakes, which was allowed on a right-wing social media accounts with a history of sharing misinformation, along with messages from Donald Trump saying, I accept. For Donald Trump not to have known these are all AI-generated images and saying that he accepts means that he is clueless, obviously, to what's happening to his campaign team and all. Has not yet, of course, publicly endorsed presidential candidate as Taylor Swift for November election, supported Taylor Swift, that is, Democratic Party in 2020, when she publicly criticized Donald Trump during his presidency amid nationwide protests following George Floyd's murder by police officers. All right, that is all we have for America. And let's see, of course, it's a developing story. Let's see what happens in coming days. Now let's move on to what could be called the largest attack on Russian soil since World War II. Ladies and gentlemen, Ukrainian incursion into the Kursk region in Russia, ladies and gentlemen, is still the subject of international discussion as we speak today. Ukraine has made significant gains with over 1,200 square kilometers into Russia. The latest is the bombing of this bridge, this particular bridge in the Kursk region. And this made it the third bridge that had been dismantled by Ukraine's attempt to expand its incursion within Russian territory. Amongst the 9 countries that possess nuclear weapons, the United States, France, China, the United Kingdom, Pakistan, India, Israel, and North Korea. Russia, of course, is the chairman, the chairman of them all, with 5,580 nuclear warheads. Vladimir Putin has threatened to use nuclear weapon if the motherland Russia is threatened or invaded by the West. But however, with what is happening between Russia and Ukraine, with the incursion by Ukraine as supported by the West, United States and Britain and France and Germany, which by now is more than enough threat, an invasion of the motherland by US and its ally, and why we believe Putin might use warheads. But you know what? Vladimir Putin would never dare use one amongst his 5,580 nuclear warheads on Ukraine. Because if Vladimir Putin ever does use one of his warheads successfully, then Russia, the motherland he so much cares about, would be wiped out by his action due to a boomerang effect of radioactive waves, which would make Russia in its entirety inhabitable due to the closeness of Russia to Ukraine. Of course, they were both members of the Soviet Union and brothers. Now, this is a classic case of knowing you can't eat your cake and have it. So the best way for Russia, in my opinion, to be successful is to tactically muzzle out Ukraine away from its territory, or maybe allow them be, for the sake of peace, just have the region and hand over all those territories they have taken away from them. That is my advice. Of course, Vladimir Putin is a strong-willed leader. Nobody ever gives him advice. But let's see how that goes. Of course, still on Russia, but this time satirical, where no billionaire capitalist would not want to partake in, especially when it comes to internal regional conflict in the country or between one country and another, and especially not in Russia/Ukraine palaver. But we have it, ladies and gentlemen, that the leader of Russia's Chechen Republic has heaped praise on Tesla, Elon Musk, and invited the billionaire to visit his region after posting a video of himself driving a machine gun-mounted Tesla Cybertruck. That's the Chechen leader, on right on top of one of the Cybertrucks, which he feels is stronger than the armor tank. That's what I want to believe he feels. But of course, he said that for the optics, for the Chechen Republic leader, but no doubt he is just but a nosy Parker, who loves to meddle in other people's business. Let's not forget, Elon Musk is an entrepreneur, the richest man in the world, who consciously, by the way, understands the impact of Kadyrov's action and what that means for his business, especially amongst the major stakeholders and shareholders at Tesla, who might not be good friends of Vladimir Putin and his bully on Ukraine. But of course, come to think of it, on a light mood, imagine you use a Tesla Cybertruck for war, and just about the time you come neck to neck with the enemy, and just then the battery of the Tesla runs out. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the beginning of becoming a prisoner of war. And that's what it is. Well, there's the time we have for politics around the world today. I'd love to say thank you for your time. But of course, do well to visit our site at enterprisetvnews.com for more information. And also like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Gwebike. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next on Politics Around the World.